Instructional Phonetics and Phonology, Session 9, English Vowels. I am Mohsen Rezazadeh. I'm lecturer at the University of Isfahan. Overview. Last session we discussed nasals, proximants, overlapping gestures, and English consonant allophones. In this section, English consonant allophones, we provided 19 rules or descriptions of language behaviors regarding English consonant allophones. Today we are going to talk about vowels. Vowel quality. Unlike consonants, which sound more distinct, vowels form a continuum. Say, for example, A, and then try to move gradually to E. That is, try to connect them together. If you pay attention, we had two other vowels in the middle. Now try saying this: A, and E, and slur slowly from one vowel to another. You can hear the same thing. This shows that unlike consonants, which are distinct, vowels form a continuum. In fact, now try to say A and then move gradually to A. That's something like this. The fact is that, in fact, the fact that you can do this, you can do it, and is that there is no obstruction of the air, and we can say that vowels are different variations. Today, we will elaborate more on vowels in English. The auditory vowel space. When you move from one vowel to another, you are changing the auditory quality of the vowel. You're of course doing this by moving your tongue and your lips, but as we have noted, it is very difficult to say exactly how your tongue is moving. Consequently, because phoneticians cannot be very precise about the positions of the vocal organs in the vowels, they use X-rays or they use MRI to monitor the tongue. We often simply use labels for the auditory qualities of the different vowels, and for example, we use high, low, back, and front. So, as you can see in this figure, the four vowels E, A, and U have been put in an extreme corner of the space. In fact, we did not put them exactly on the lines or exactly in the corners, and the fact that we cannot be precise. Given a notion of an auditory vowel space of this kind, we can plot the relative quality of the different vowels. Remember that the labels high, low, and front or back should not be taken as descriptions of tongue positions, because they're not. They are simply indicators of the way one vowel sounds relate to another sound. The labels describe the relative auditory qualities, not the articulations. American and British vowels. Most of the vowels of a form of standard American newscaster English, typical of many Midwestern speakers, are shown in the left part of this figure. A comparable diagram of the vowels of British English as spoken by BBC newscasters is shown in the right side. As you can see in both diagrams, the slide points represent the vowels that we are treating as monophthongs, and the lines represent the movements involved in the diphthong. Now try to look at these two figures and find the differences. For example, if you look at the position of, for example, oo in the American one and oo in the British one, you can understand that oo in British is a bit fronter than oo in American. Or if you look at, for example, aw in British, and then you look for it in the on the left picture, you can find aw, because we don't have aw in American English. We only have aw. For example, American speakers won't say author, they say author, so they don't need aw. But in British we have aw, and it is in the back. Diphthongs. Diphthongs involve a change in quality within one vowel, or it can be described as movement from one vowel to another vowel. As you saw in the previous slide, we also presented diphthongs, movement from one vowel to another vowel. In English, the first part of the diphthong is usually more prominent than the second part or the last part. This difference is indicated by non-syllabic diacritic under the less prominent portion. For example, I in night can be shown by this small diacritic under the less prominent one. When I say I, the first thing that you hear is ah, and then we have e, I. So the prominent one is the first part, ah, and then the next prominent one is e. So we show this by this non-syllabic diacritic. We show that it is the less prominent portion of this diphthong. In some books, they use this small diacritic, just like the one you see on the right side. It is printed as a superscript letter. Now, you can see the figure here, the American national newscaster again. Now, we will consider the diphthongs shown in this figure. I, as in high, by, ow, as in how or now, a, as in hey, bay, o, as in ho or coat, oi, as in boy or joy. If you pay attention, you can see that the prominent part in all of these diphthongs is placed at the beginning, and the second one is the less prominent one. For example, when I say oi, first you hear o, which is prominent, and then you see e, which is the less prominent one. It is the case for all of the diphthongs that you see in this figure except for one of them, which is U, as in Q. What is the difference? In fact, this diphthong differs from the other diphthongs in that the more prominent part is at the end. If you pay attention, I say U, U. E is less prominent. You can't hear it. U. What you hear is U. So the difference between this tongue and the others is that U, which is the prominent one, is located in the second part of the diphthong, not the first part. But in the rest, you see that the prominent part is located at the beginning of the diphthong. If you look at the figure, you can see that look at the arrows. If you pay attention to the arrows, you see that the thick part is the prominent one, and it becomes narrower and it goes to the less prominent one. The one on the top, U, starts the thick side from this. The thick side of the arrow starts from U, and then it goes to E. But when we pronounce it, we say U, U. The only common stressed vowel of American English not shown in the figure in the previous slide is You can see that we show it by the two symbols, either of them, as in sir or heard or fur. This vowel does not fit on the chart because it cannot be described simply in terms of features like high, low, front, back, rounded, unrounded. In fact, the vowel can be said to be R-colored. It involves an additional feature called rhoticization. Just like high, low, and front, back, the feature rhoticization describes an auditory property, the R coloring of a vowel. Accents that permit some form of re after a vowel are said to be rhotic. The most noticeable difference among accents of English is in whether they have R-colored vowels or not. In many forms of American English, rhoticization occurs when vowels are followed by re, as in, for example, beard, bird, bard, poor, tear, hour. And if you pay attention to British pronunciations, you understand that British is a non-rhotic accent, while American is a rhotic one. Rhoticized vowels are often called retroflexed vowels. Do not mix it with retroflex consonant we had before. This is retroflexed vowel. This could be produced in two ways, one of which is this, with the tip of the tongue raised as in a retroflex consonant, and number two with the tip down and a high bunched tongued position. I'll show it in the next slide. Here you can see the X-rays of the pronunciation of In fact, some speakers have the tip of the tongue raised as in a retroflex consonant. The speaker shown in the left side, in the figure on the left side, has this type of tongue configuration. Others, such as the speakers in the bottom plan in the right side, keep the tip down and produce a high bunched tongue position. If you pay attention, you can see that the tongue is high and it is bunched. These two gestures produce a very similar auditory effect. X-ray studies of speech have shown that in both these ways of producing a rhoticized quality, there is usually a constriction in the pharynx caused by retraction of the part of the tongue near the epiglottis. In fact, we as Persian speakers of English, we mostly produce this using the tongue raised position. Unstressed syllables. In unstressed syllables, we may find reduced or weakened vowel e. In phonetics, vowel reduction is any of various changes in the acoustic quality of vowels, which are related to changes in stress, sonority, duration, loudness, articulation, and blah blah. In fact, in all forms of English, the symbol schwa may be used to specify a range of mid-central vowel qualities. As you can see in this table, we have 4 columns. In the first column, you can see the vowel to be considered, and the words in the second column illustrate the full form of the vowels. The third column gives an example of the same unreduced vowel in an unstressed syllable, and the fourth column illustrates the same underlying vowel as a reduced vowel. So as you can see in the third column, we have unstressed syllable, but the vowel is unreduced. This is why I bolded this word may. In unstressed syllables, we may find reduced or weakened vowels. Let's have a look at one of these examples. The first vowel is E. In the first column, you see appreciate, appreciate. Here, if you look at E, you understand that it is located in a stressed syllable, appreciate, and you hear the full form of E. Now, look at the third column, the unstressed syllable one. The word is creation, creation. Although the syllable cre is unstressed when I say creation, but again you can hear the voice of E, creation, creation. Here this syllable is unstressed and the vowel is unreduced. Now look at the last column. Deprecate, deprecate. Here E is located in an unstressed syllable and the vowel is reduced. Deprecate. If you pay attention, you do not hear E completely. This is the case for other words in this column too. For example, implication, implication, or confrontation, confrontation, or confirmation, confirmation, recitation, recitation, or circular, circular. If you pay attention, you can see that for many people, the reduced vowels in the last column are very similar. They're very similar to what we know as schwa. And the reason is that in all of these examples in the last column, the vowel is weakened or reduced. Tense and lax vowels. Tense vowels occur in the words with a final silent E in the spelling, like, for example, mate, meet, kite, cute. Lax vowels occur in the corresponding words without a silent E. For example, mat, met, kit, cut. In fact, I gave you these two definitions of tense vowels and lax vowels, but in fact it is a spelling-based definition. This spelling-based distinction is in fact a rough indication of the difference between the two sets, tense and lax vowels. In fact, exemplification is better. So I'll give you some examples in the next slide. If you pay attention to this table, you can see that we have tense vowels, lax vowels, most closed syllables, open syllables, syllables closed by re, syllables closed by ing, and syllables closed by she. The difference between the two sets can be in fact discussed in terms of the different kinds of syllables in which they occur. This table shows some of the restrictions for one form of American English. In the first column, closed syllable, those that have a consonant at the end. All of the vowels occur in these circumstances. All of the vowels can occur in the circumstances like this. The next column shows that in open syllables, those syllables without a consonant at the end, they are called open syllables. Only a restricted set of vowels can occur. If you pay attention to column most closed syllables, you can see that it is full of words, so all of the vowels can happen here. In open syllables, only some vowels could occur, like in b, bay, lo, boo, by, boy, and q. And then we go to syllables closed by re. Again, you see only some vowels can happen there. Syllables closed by ing, only e, a, and a can happen, like in sing, length, and hung. And the last column, she, syllables closed by she, only e, e, and a can happen, like, for example, wish, fresh, push, and crush. Closed syllables are those that have a consonant at the end, and as I said previously, open syllables are those without a consonant at the end. Therefore, e, a, and a, as in bid, bed, bad, good, but, cannot appear in open syllables. These are called lax vowels. You can see tense and lax vowels in this figure. E, e, u, a. In fact, the tense vowels are a bit longer and they require more energy to be pronounced. If I want to in fact show it on a diagram, I need to show you another figure in the next slide. This figure shows different positions of the tongue for different vowels. As you can see, all lax vowels are located nearly in the center, and all tense vowels are located in the corners. In fact, I can say that another difference between tense and lax vowels is that for tense vowel, you feel more tension in your neck, lips, jaw, and your tongue. The mouth is more closed, and for lax vowels, you are more relaxed in your neck, in your lips, in your jaw and tongue, and the mouth is more open. Lax vowels are more centralized, and tense vowels are more forward or more back. These are differences between tense and lax vowels. If you pronounce the words including tense and lax vowels for yourself, you can feel the difference. For example, read, team, read, tim, long E and short E. When I say read or team, it is tense. You can do it in front of a mirror. You can see your neck, the jaws, the tongue, everything is tense. But when you say read or when you say Tim, everything is relaxed. Or, for example, late, let, read. Count, row, cut, raw. Or pool, look, pull, look. You can see that there is a huge difference between tense and lax vowels regarding the tensions in the neck, lips, jaw, tongue, and openness or closeness of the mouth, forward or back tongue for tense, and more centralized tongue for lax vowels. We can conclude this chapter by considering a set of formal statements that apply to vowels. If you remember, we did the same thing for the consonants. So the first one is this. Other things being equal, a vowel is longest in an open syllable. Next longest in a syllable closed by a voiced consonant, and shortest in a syllable closed by a voiceless. Look at the example. See, seed, seat, sigh, sight, sight. So when a vowel is located in an open syllable like see or sigh, it is the longest. When a vowel is located in a syllable which is closed by a voiced consonant like in de in seed or de inside, voiced consonant, it is closed by a voiced consonant, it is next longest. That is, the first one is the longest, see, sigh. This is the next longest, seed or sight. And it is the shortest in seat and sight. The shortest in a syllable which is closed by a voiceless sound like t, seat and sight, compared with seed and see. Number 2, other things being equal, vowels are longer in stressed syllables. For example, O in below is longer than O in below. Why? Because in the first one, it is located in a stressed syllable. Below, below, compared with below, below. So vowels are longer in stressed syllables. Number 3, other things being equal, vowels are longest in monosyllabic words. Next longest in words with 2 syllables, and shortest in words with more than 2 syllables. Here's the example. The first word is a monosyllabic one, the next one is 2-syllable one, and the last one is the one with more than 2 syllables. Speed, speed, speedy, speedily. If you pay attention to the length of the vowel, you can understand that it becomes shorter and shorter as I go on. Speed, this is the longest. Speedy, shorter. Speedily, this is the shortest. And the reason is the number of syllables in each word. Number 4. A reduced vowel may be voiceless after a voiceless stop. Potato, potato, catastrophe, catastrophe, permission, permission. As you can see, a reduced vowel here, O in potato, A in catastrophe, in permission, is voiceless after the voiceless stops at the beginning. P is a voiceless stop. So the vowel after it, which is O, is reduced. This is why you can't hear something like potato. No, it is potato, potato. You can't hear it because it is reduced. You hear just a little bit of it. Catastrophe. You don't say catastrophe, no. Catastrophe, catastrophe. You won't say permission, you say permission, permission. So, vowels are reduced when they're preceded by a voiceless stop. Number 5. Vowels are nasalized in syllables closed by a nasal consonant. For example, man. If you pay attention here, we have a syllable which is finished by n. N is a nasal consonant. The vowel before it is a. This vowel is nasalized because of the effect of n. This a is in man is different from a in pat. A is in pat is the ordinary a, but a in man is a nasalized a or a nasalized vowel. Number 6. Vowels are retracted before syllable final le or re. In fact, here by final le we mean velarized le. If you pay attention to the diacritic in the middle, you can see that it is a symbol of velarization. So in words like pill, pale, pal, or here, der, vowels are retracted. It means that they're affected by this final velarized le or re. It moves back into the main part. In fact, we must note that allophones produced when vowels occur in syllables closed by le are in fact different from others. For example, compare your pronunciation of E in heed and heel. Or for example, A in paid and pale. In each case, you should be able to hear a noticeably different vowel quality before the velarized le. All the front vowels become considerably retracted in these circumstances. That is, they're a bit more back. They move back into the main part. It is almost as if they became diphthongs with an unrounded form of at the same element. So if I pronounce it again, pill, pale, pal, you can understand that this a in pal is different from a in, for example, pan or a in, for example, pat. In fact, it is something between a and a. This is why we say it is retracted. Summary. Today, we talked about vowel quality, diphthongs, and the difference between British and American vowels. Rhotic vowels, we said that American accent is a rhotic one and British accent is a non-rhotic one. Tense and lax vowels, and at the end we provided 6 rules or descriptions in the section called English Vowel Allophones. This is the end of session 9. Good luck, everybody.